let's go ahead and get started. I do think we'll probably have a few more people joining as you know, we get a little bit further in. But for those I'm looking at, I see a few new faces. There's some numbers, so I don't know who some of the people are, but just a quick introduction. I'm Michelle Goldberg. I am the president of Gold Ribbon Rescue. Also, I'm the head of our training and behavior team. So training and having really well, I don't know that really well-behaved dogs, because sometimes I think the silliest things my dogs do is the funnest, but having canine good citizens, so to speak, or well-mannered dogs, and it's appropriate, you know, in the time and place, is important to all of us. We've been running these webinars most of the year. We have, in this current series, we have 2 left, but we're going to be continuing, well, not counting tonight, so after tonight too. We're still going to be continuing these webinars through next year. So we're really excited about that. If you guys have any ideas on topics that you want Debbie and Diane to delve more into, shoot me an email, let me know. They're very flexible on what our topics and what the content can be. But Debbie and Diane are with C-Spot Behave. As I said earlier, they are one of our preferred training partners. We have a fantastic relationship with them. They've worked with a lot of GRR dogs. Currently in care, adopted dogs, will continue to work with dogs on post-adoption. So they are an integral part of what we do and why we can have successful adoptions. So I'm going to turn it over to them and let them introduce themselves and their company.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. So appreciate that. And yes, GRR is an amazing organization. We have been very blessed to be able to work with you guys and all the dogs that we've been able to meet. So for tonight, who's ready to talk about crazy dogs? What brings us together this evening? So yeah, we're going to talk about how to help your dogs go from a place of crazy to a place of calm. So hopefully, I will let you know, it is a big topic. So we will probably be brushing the surface of the idea of calm dog, because there's so many things that you can talk about when it comes to helping your dogs calm, and specifically when it comes to specific behaviors. So we will try to cover as much as I can tonight, but otherwise we could you know, spend a full year working. So anyway, to start off with, I'd like to do our introductions. I'm Diane. I am the co-owner and lead trainer for C-Spot Behave. I've been doing this for about, 15 years now. And it's just been really wonderful. I started in California with my crazy dog. Her name was Harley, and she was a Chow Husky mix. And how we got started was her picking tiles off my kitchen countertop because she was bored. So I went into training with her, fell in love with it, started working with a animal behaviorist, and from there created C-Spot Behave. And like I said, been doing this now for about 15 years, and nothing makes me happier than working with crazy dogs. And we're going to work on that this evening. I'm going to turn it now over to my partner, Debbie, and let her introduce herself to you guys.
Hi, I'm Debbie. I'm the other half of crazy. If you have 2 halves of crazy, you just get crazy. It's a different kind of math. But we've got lots of experience with really excited, hyper dogs. And I think that's kind of why we came into being trainers. My dog that brought me here was also reactive, not just a bouncy dog, but a reactive dog. But since then, I've acquired a Jack Russell Terrier. And a Jack Russell Terrier is basically will give a golden retriever puppy a run for his money. And so we have learned the big, high energy tricks that dogs can do just from having our own dogs that do that. The jumping, the bouncing, the nibbling, the biting, the stealing, all of those good things. And so we're going to focus on that stuff. And Diane's going to be your fearless leader for tonight. I did see a hand up. Tony, you've got your hand up. What can we do for you? Oh,
Well, I just sent a little chat message. Yeah.
Oh, there
Did
you go.
you adopt Augie, the dog that came from Corpus Christi about a month ago?
No, we didn't, but I did see that we had a picture of Augie.
We
Yeah,
have
well,
his current
anyway,
fosters.
Yep.
His current fosters, the Margaret
Yeah,
and Larry Jolly are
we're-
on the call, and they're fostering
Yeah.
Augie.
We are fostering Augie, and you
Uh,
chose well when you made him your poster dog.
Well,
He's a
hopefully we can
sweet,
help with
sweet boy.
that.
He is, but man,
Aw,
he is jacked up.
okay. Well,
Okay,
let's-
sorry to
I hope
interrupt.
we have some wisdom for you. All right, well, take it away, Diane. Let's get some work in here.
Awesome. All right, let's jump on in. So basically what we're going to cover tonight is we're going to do a little bit about understanding dog energy and how that relates to behavior. Because I think it's important to understand that energy and behavior can be two different things. And so a lot of times while we're concerned about energy, what we're really more concerned about is behavior. And so we're going to take a look at the behaviors that sometimes get us frustrated and how to help our dogs with those behaviors. Then we're going to also look at management versus training strategies. And this is a big one because oftentimes we think that training is the way to go when in fact management might be a better choice because it happens faster than training. So we're going to take a look at that and then also talk about a few things. Again, there's so many different things that we can be talking about when it comes to calm behaviors, but I'm going to give you a couple of examples of behaviors that typically drive people crazy and what you can kind of do to help your dogs manage their emotions and their energy. Okay, so and two, I want this to be interactive, so feel free to raise your hands, ask questions, participate, because I work really well with that kind of energy. So again, feel free to jump in, questions, comments, all that good stuff, and we're gonna have fun. Alrighty, so moving on. So what does Rowdy look like? I want you to take a minute and think about when you envision either your dog, your foster dog, somebody else's dog, and you hear the term rowdy or crazy or energized, what does that behavior look like to you? This is what a trainer would ask a client, because a lot of times I want my dog to be calm without really looking at what is it exactly that I'm looking for my dog to be able to do, So again, take a second here, think about what does a rowdy dog look like to me? And if anybody has any examples, love to hear them, or you can throw them in the chat, whatever works for you. But I'd love to hear some of your examples of rowdy or crazy or energized. Anybody?
Well, I'm going to put Margaret and Larry on the spot.
Okay.
Since they have 1-year-old Augie, who I think is probably the definition of rowdy.
Got it.
When you try to walk, he's jumping like a pogo stick right in front of us, right in the pathway where you're trying to walk. If he's bored, he's chewing up garden hoses and electrical cords that go to our pool cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
Jumping on our dogs.
He's constantly fighting with Major, and Major can I don't know, suppress it, but Major's not a mean dog, and so he doesn't have that sort of lay him out kind of, put him in his place deal. So Paul and Major both have just taken it on the chin, and they're a little stressed.
They're a little tired.
It's the 2-year-old. Stop poking me. Stop poking me.
When we go to feed him, he gets so hyper, he's just jumping around, and he'll jump on the food bowl and it goes flying. And he's kind of crazy.
He does little figure eights. We got him one of the puzzle food bowls, and that slows him down a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, he's a very excitable dog. He's also very sweet.
Well, yeah. Well, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit because a lot of times we think those behaviors are, we identify because we're human as those behaviors being bad. And I'm going to invite you to start looking at it as behavior. You know, you have a good dog. It's just behaviors that are not working for you and for him. And so if we can kind of look at that, and that's why I want you to kind of start to envision what the specific behaviors are when you think of Rowdy, because the goal is, how do we then get them to the goal that we're looking for, the calm, the peaceful, the contained energy versus the sporadic energy. So it's really important to, again, visualize where you're taking your dog to, because a lot of times what happens is that we spend a lot of time with no. You know, we don't want our dogs to do this, we don't want our dog to act this way. But if you're not giving them a yes, they tend to go back to the behavior that we're going, we really didn't want you to do. Or they're guessing a lot. You know, it's like, okay, I can't chew this table, but heck, this bed looks really great, so I'm going to go chew on that, without giving them the opportunity to find something else to do that's appropriate. Cool, cool? So far, so good? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Yay. All right. So again, remember, energy isn't the problem. It's just unmanaged energy that creates the chaos. All right, so moving on, we're going to move on. What does calm look like? So again, want to give you guys the opportunity to look at, what does calm look like? Is it quiet, still, relaxed, polite, a good dog? Those are great describers of the behavior, but I want you to really think about what those specific behaviors look like. Resting on their bed during dinner, meeting guests politely without jumping, listening to when I talk to them. How many of you have that issue? I know I do. Nobody else has an issue with their dogs going, oh, what did you want from me? Nobody? It's really okay to participate. Nope.
Oh,
Okay.
heck yes.
Okay. I was going to say, you guys have great dogs then.
No. I'm here for a reason.
Fantastic. Paulette, I see you have a question.
Well, it's not a question, but you're looking for what we want. And
Right.
right at the moment, my biggest thing is somebody comes to the door.
Mhm.
Marley knows the person, so excited, wants to jump up and be crazy for at least the first 20 minutes or so that they're here. And I can put her in the bedroom where Michelle says, you know, you can't close the door. Well, I can put her in the bedroom and she won't scratch. She won't do anything. It's just like I'm ticked off because, you know, I'm in here, I guess. But
Oh, yeah.
that jumping up on people is really a biggie for me.
We're going to actually, and this, thank you for sharing that, because that is one of the things we're going to get to a little bit later in this presentation. But yes, you know, Goldies love hard. They just love hard. It's, I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and I love the tree, and I love the bush. And so, yeah, it tends to be demonstrative. You know, we show our feelings big, especially when we love somebody. So we're going to talk about how to help them love a little less. But thank you again for sharing. Really appreciate that. But again, why I bring this up is that a lot of times, if we're not thinking about the specific behaviors we're trying to help our dogs get to, then it's harder when it comes to terms of training and everything, because it's just like, if I just say, I want my dog to be calm, your dog's going to look at you and go, I have no idea what you're talking about, or I will be calm when it works for me. So again, we kind of have to help them a little bit in this process. Okay. All right. So next, Wanted to talk about expectations versus reality, because a lot of times our expectations for our dogs, it's really funny, is that we'll want our dogs to, again, be able to go in the middle of Home Depot on a Saturday with 4,000 people around and sit there nice and quiet and polite. And your dogs are going, holy cow, all this stuff is happening around me, and you want me to just sit here. Really challenging, right? So when we're looking at calm behaviors for dog, what we're really wanting to make sure is that, do our dogs feel safe? Big one. If they don't feel safe, chances are they're going to have some sort of reaction. Are they feeling connected with you? Can you communicate with them so they understand not only what you want them to do instead of the behavior that you're dealing with, but the why too? We have to make it really clear to them as to why this is a great option for them, because a lot of times they look at us as like, sit right now does not make any sense. I understand what sit means, but at this moment, I don't see the reason why. So we have to make it clear to them. Also regulated. Again, are they feeling calm themselves, and are we feeling calm? And we're going to talk about that, because again, if we don't feel calm, if we're getting amped up and frustrated, they're just going to respond to that energy. So the more frustrated you are, the more they're going to read it as, oh, look, we match. And they're going to bring that energy level up. Also being flexible too, that sometimes I always ask my clients, is that a mountain worth climbing? An example of that is my dog absolutely hates going to farmers markets. It is not his thing. He can go there. He has been trained enough to kind of hang out and be okay there, but he hates it. So am I going to climb that mountain and continue to work with him on it? Or am I going to say, hey, look, he doesn't like farmers markets. I'm not going to take him to a farmer's market. Okay. And then the last is, a lot of times when we're looking at asking our dogs to be calm, we'll do a stay as a cue. And you'll notice a lot of times dogs that are in a stay position aren't necessarily calm, that they're holding it in a sit or a down, but they're really waiting for something to happen, right? And I don't know if anybody's done this before, where they're staring at you going, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. What's next? What's next? And we want to look at how can we help them not only hold a position, but really relax into that position. Cool so far? All right, moving on. So talking about our energy, right? Dogs are real energetic beings. And anybody with their dogs, do they ever find that, if you are running around the house, that they just kind of pick up on that and go, yes, game on.
Yeah.
And sometimes my dogs will meditate with me, even though they are both high energy dogs. But if I set the room up and they've got nice music happening and a little lavender going, I'll go, oh, okay, I can settle into this. I can see this happening. So again, it's really, especially when you get frustrated, and I bring this up a lot of my clients, is that if you're getting super frustrated with your dog, the dog feels that energy. And so even when you are ready to tear your hair out, and I've been in that position before, you really want to look at, can you bring your energy down? Can you be calm in order to be able to help communicate to your dog what it is that you want them to be able to do? So it's key. One big one, and we'll talk about this a little later too. How many have had dogs bark at their windows or doors when people going by, UPS, mail carrier, anybody? Yep. And how many have run up to the door going, stop barking? Anybody? No? Wow, yep. So again, dogs interpret that as, oh, I'm barking at it, you're barking at it, fantastic. So that's where, again, having calm helps them look at it differently. So, calm is key. Your calm is going to really help their calm. The other thing too is, again, looking at the behavior is not good or bad. It's just communication, right? So it's important to not label it as bad behavior, because typically with my clients, once they start calling the behavior bad, then they are already getting aggravated, which tends to bring the energy level up. And your dogs feel that you're being bad. They honestly don't understand that concept. It means nothing to them.
That one, because when you say my dog should know better or my dog knows better, that's just the same as saying they're bad. They really, if they knew better, they wouldn't do it. It's the assumption that they, quote, know better means that you think that they're breaking the rules deliberately. And really what it means at this point is that somehow the training didn't fit this particular instance or this particular set of stimulation, or your dog is overstimulated and the training hasn't been sufficient for that level of stimulation. And so, one thing about dogs is they don't generalize well. So I might train my dog not to bark at the front door, but then there's a landscaper at the back door. I haven't trained him for the back door, and now they're barking. They don't generalize. They don't go, hey, what I do at the front door should happen at the back door. That they should know better didn't apply there. So that's where we fail in training, and we also assume a lot about our dogs.
Yeah, it's again, I think it's easy to think of dogs and people as apples and oranges, but in reality, it's apples and Mars. We're about as different as we can be. And so it's easy to project our emotions and our belief systems onto dogs. And in reality, it's completely different. So again, the more we can manage our emotions and our body language and our being, they're going to understand that a lot more than, again, going, you did not do the right thing. They go, it was a dog thing, seemed right to me at the time. Good. Any questions so far on anything we covered?
Diane, I have a question. I'm
Absolutely.
Julie's husband, and we've talked about this a little bit in the past. You and Debbie have talked about how walk time is like the most important part that the dog thinks in his life. Well, we've got a dog out of 4. We have 4 Goldens. One of them goes nuts anytime we go towards the leashes or the harnesses. And in fact, it's a girl, and she will jump and grab the leash and hold onto it like a fish until we actually get her on it. And I don't know. I've told her, over and over, don't do that, and show her to push her butt down to keep her down, but it doesn't seem to help.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she's so excited about it. It's like, game on.
Yeah.
And, I would, we're going to touch slightly on walks a little bit later in this presentation. But I will admit, when it comes to kind of dog walks, that can be its own separate category.
Can I just give you one tidbit of wisdom on this one?
Yeah.
Sure.
So every time you're going to set up this is a setup. You're not going to actually take her for the walk on this one. You're going to walk over and reach for the leash, and when she gets excited, you're going to walk away. And then you're going to come again and reach for the leash, and then when she jumps, you're going to step back until she steps back herself. You're going to reach and then step back and reach and step back until when you reach for the leash, she doesn't jump for it.
Okay. Now, I understand that, Debbie. In this case, it's really that I've got the leash. I'm going to wherever we're going to walk. And just on that journey, she's not on the leash yet. That's where she grabs it like a fish.
Then drop it like it's the hot potato and walk away.
Okay.
So
All right.
if you are animating the leash and she's excited, you drop it. Okay. So basically the minute she gets too excited about the leash, you stop animating the leash and you drop it as if it's dead. And then you walk away for a second and you try again.
Oh, okay. So give in to what she's doing, basically.
Basically, oh, yep, that's it. And so it's just, well, we're not using the leash now, and so it basically stops all of the animation on the leash. And she goes, oh, well, that's no fun.
Okay. All right. Good. That's good. That was good. I'll give that a try.
Yeah.
As long as you just stop dead. I mean, literally my dog would grab the leash and I'd just drop it to the ground and they're like, well, and
right.
And then I'll reach down to pick up the leash and they get hyper and then I'll drop it again until they allow me to pick up the leash and put it on them. And just keep trying it. Yeah. It's a tough game, but they do get it pretty quickly.
And again, getting back to that calm and everything, the fantastic thing about that is it's brain work for your dog too, which is a huge thing to help with calm with dogs, is making them figure out the puzzle. You have created the puzzle is how does the leash get onto me so we get to go for a walk? And what you're saying is figure it out. You can't grab the leash. You can't lose your mind. And when you put that all together, guess what? Leash magically goes on. We magically get to go for the walk. So brain, all of those kinds of things are fantastic, but it's a great trick on a lot of different things, lots of different behaviors. We tend to cue a lot. We like to do cues a lot. And instead, making them figure things out definitely helps with the brain work. Sorry, Mary, you had a question or comment?
I just had a comment. We just adopted Murphy and she just loves to eat and she loves to charge the door. But before I would put her food down and she'd come at it and I pick it up, kind of the same thing you were talking about with the leash. And now I put the food down and she just looks at me. She just stares at me until I release her. So I feel really proud about that. But I think, with the leash and like with the door, we're working on that. And she just sits and she'll just look at me until I tell her, to go. So it works.
That's fantastic. Yeah, slowing their roll. That's kind of it's not a technical term, but.
Good job, Mary.
Good, yeah. Anytime you can slow your dog's roll and get them, again, this is not a training term, but I always like to think of it that when you get them in a thinking pattern, thinking brain, is usually when they're a little bit calmer, and then they can analyze and learn and process information. When they're doing the spins and the crazy, that's when they're going, yep, just reacting, not thinking. So anytime you can practice those calm things like at the door is fantastic. So 2 thumbs up.
Well, and one thing I just want to add, because we used to do this years ago, is we used to get them hyped up to go for a walk. Let's go for a walk. Let's go. You ready? And of course they would respond to that. And so, so we learned a long time ago, like it's a non-event to open the door, get the leash, and they just stand there and wait for us to put their harness on because we don't make a big deal about it.
Yep. They're again matching energy, right? If I'm nice and calm and no big deal, then they go, oh, okay. But if I'm going, yes, they're like, yes, game on. Yep. It does make a difference. It really does. And I've had to learn that over the years myself because I get excited and then realize, oh, gonna amp them up. Let's not do that.
I'm new to practice of taking my leash down and setting it on different surfaces so that if the leash gets touched or moved, it doesn't mean we're all going to go on a walk. It doesn't have a signal connected to it. And that can help too.
Lots of ways, just there again, Zen way of thinking. Good. All right. So, I know we have talked a lot in previous webinars about management, different things like creating sanctuary spaces and predictable routines. Why I want to bring it up one more time is that management always happens faster than training. So if there are things like, you know, we're talking about the holidays coming up and everything like that, if you decide, you know, the day before Thanksgiving that this is the day that I'm going to teach my dog to settle and hope that they're going to learn settle while everybody's coming over for dinner, chances are not good that's going to happen. And having baby gates and calm spaces for them to go to, it just happens faster. So keep those tools in mind when you are sorry, my English just went out the window. When you're looking for your dog to be able to be calm in certain situations. As an example, when I travel with my dogs, they are crate trained. And so if we're staying in a hotel, even if they're okay in the hotel room, they stay in their crates. I've created that as their calm place to go to. And so they understand, I go into the crate, I be calm in there. So again, you know, be open to management if necessary, rather than trying to do training, because training will always take time. Cool. All right. So moving on. Also, I know everybody really knows Goldies. I'm walking into a Goldie world here, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, they have big feelings. Anybody, dogs with big feelings? Yeah. Yes, yeah. And here's the thing, it's in their breeding. So we have to, you know, recognize Goldies feel big. And because of that, they tend to be really engaged. They like to carry things. They're, you know, they like that attention, all of it. And so a lot of the things like talking about jumping up on people and everything, they really like that, and it is in their DNA. So again, we have to remember, okay, that is just a Goldie. And we, you know, again, when we're working on these behaviors, we just have to recognize we have to maintain our calm. Okay, next. All right, here we're getting to the good stuff. Yay! So Michelle was very kind and she forwarded quite a few questions to me, and several of you emailed questions about jumping up. So hopefully those of you who sent in your questions are here we're going to talk about jumping up on people as a greeting. Because again, Goldies, love, 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 right? Anybody have the hugger Goldie, the one that jumps up and hugs you and wants to hang on for dear life?
We have that, but we like it. But
yeah,
everybody else likes it. So that is the problem, because
yeah, well, yeah, that's a tough one because yeah, it can be lots of fun. I used to work with Goldie. He was close to 100 pounds. He was huge, named Zach, who would hug and then hang on. And it's like, no, Zach, gotta go. And he's like, nope, nope, I'm gonna hang on to you for hours. So definitely enjoyed it, made it hard to work. But I like to, you know, have this as kind of a rule of thumb that this is for not only you, but friends and family and whatnot. And it is called 4 on the floor. And basically it just means you teach your dog that if they're going to get attention or love or treats or anything, all 4 paws have to be on the ground. If you keep that in mind, what you're basically teaching your dog is, oh, if I keep all my paws on the ground, that's when I get all the positive reinforcement. So just a rule of thumb for everybody is, again, 4 on the floor. Just keep those paws on the ground. Now, Michelle, you mentioned that you like the hugging part of it. And so in that situation, if you personally like to be jumped up on or hugged, teaching your dog that cue then of when they get to jump up.
That's what
And
we
so,
did.
you know, yeah, exactly. So if you keep the idea of treats, all paws have to be on the ground. Pets, we do it when we're on the ground. And if they can't do it, the easiest thing to do is just done or walking away. And that's the same with friends and family too. We just walk away. We're not going to give them attention. It doesn't mean we don't love them. And it doesn't mean that we're mad at them. It's just showing them that, again, if they want attention, paws have to be on the ground. And then also calmly petting them when they are paws on the ground, because that's usually what they're looking for is, you know, the attention, the pets and all of that. So if you aim your pets to the chest area versus the head, that also helps with the jumping up. So chest pets, we talked also in previous webinars about the vagus stroke on the vagus nerve, which on the dogs and on us is this kind of groove right here on the side of the neck. That's also really calming for dogs too, taking your thumb or fingers and kind of rubbing it down that nerve there. So, but again, asking friends and family, because how many have friends and family who your dogs jump up on? It's like, oh, it's no big deal. I love dogs. It's great. Nobody has family. My family is like, oh, it's no big deal. I love it when the dogs jump up on me. Or how many when you're out on a walk and go, I love goldies. Yeah. So again, asking people to not allow your dog to jump up on them, you know, because again, if they invite it, that's how the dogs learn, yes, this is how I get attention. Cool. But okay, now the question comes up is like, well, how do I teach my dog to go say hi calmly to people? So one of the ones that I show clients, which is a really easy one, is teaching your dog a cue like go say hi. Now you can insert whatever verbiage you want into this. It doesn't matter as long as it's consistent. When you're teaching a cue, the keys to teaching a cue that works really well for a dog is that it's pretty simple and that you use it every time for the specific behavior you're teaching them. So if you change it up, you actually change a cue for a dog. How many people have asked their dogs to sit and say it multiple times? Anybody? Yeah. So again, if you repeat the cue, you actually change it for them because it sounds different. A sit sounds like sit, but if you go sit, sit, they go, okay, that's different. And if you go sit, 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 that sounds different too. And a lot of times that's why the dogs aren't responding, because they're looking at you going, I don't know what you're saying. So in this situation, go say hi. Again, keep in mind, whatever your cue is, you want it to be simple, something you remember, and you use it for the same behavior every time. So go say hi. You take a treat to your dog's nose. Okay, everybody got that? So, and you want to capture their nose. So if you've got a treat, you want them going, yes, this is great. You lure them calmly with their nose to that person's feet. And you're going to ask that person to not do anything but stand there. Don't look at your dog. Don't try to pet your dog just yet. What you're teaching them is you want them to go smell that person's feet. There's reasons for this. One is if you bring them down low, again, chances are they're not jumping up, right? They're coming in low, all paws are on the ground. The second is them smelling that person's feet is actually a great introduction for them because they gain information about that person. So again, we can definitely give Michelle handouts on this so that we can give it to everybody. But the goal is lure to that person's feet. Then if they can keep their paws on the ground, that's when somebody can then reach down and pet. Okay, but it's go say hi, sniff, sniff, sniff. If they're nice and calm and paws are staying on the ground, that person then can reach down and pet their chest. Cool, cool. Any questions on that? Real simple, right? But again, encouraging sniff feet versus coming up hot, right? 4 on the floor. Questions, concerns? Got it? Thumbs up? Yay.
How do you go from jumping to 4 on the floor? I mean,
So if you're doing introductions with people, a couple things you can do. You can have pup on leash. That's helpful to kind of control their movements. So if you're going to go say hi, they're on leash, you take that treat and lure them. If they're not able to do that, you calmly move them away from that person and wait for them to settle down before you try to do it again. So it can take a few times in order for that to happen. But the leash is a great tool to use, just not to, punish them, but just to say, hey, we're not going to go say hi because you're losing your mind. And then you move them away from the person, wait for the calm, try it again. Does that make sense? Is that doable?
yes.
Cool. Yeah. And if they really can't, if they're just having a heck of a time, it doesn't happen then. Because again, if I allow them to go jump on somebody, then after I've tried to get them to be calm, they say, great, didn't have to, right? Never, let's just keep doing it the way that works for me. Anybody else? Questions, concerns?
I have a question. So when you lure them with the treat, do they ever get the treat, or is just the setting?
Yes, so you take, I apologize. Thank you for that question. I did not make that clear. So once you take the treat, you actually put the treat either on the person's shoe or next to their shoe. So they get the treat, but usually they will also at that point in time sniff that person's shoe.
Okay.
Cool. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you for asking that.
No problem. I'll ask the questions because I don't know the answers.
I appreciate it. It's really easy sometimes as a trainer to go, well, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. No, you missed a step there. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, and Debbie, I think she put on the chat too, where there is a copy to the link on how to do the Go Say Hi too. So please feel free to check that out. We'll also make sure to get handouts to Michelle that she can either however you guys post it or send it out. So
yes,
good
and if anybody sends me an email for needing a handout, then Michelle at grr-tx.com. I can follow up with you.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. Really appreciate that. All right. So moving on to our next one. How many have dogs that bark at windows or fences? or at the UPS driver or the Amazon? Yes. So yeah. It's their job. So yeah, we unfortunately as humans have set up the perfect world for dogs to bark at things. Front windows in the house, doors, doorbells, all of that. So it's tough because they see something or hear something. They go and bark at it, whether it's a person or a dog going by, the UPS driver or whatnot. And here's where they get the positive reinforcement. It goes away and they go, great, I did my job. Look, we're all safe. They all went away and I'm feeling good about it and we're going to do it again. So it's a tough one because again, our world is kind of set up in a way to really let the dogs feel really good about it. So, and again, remember that the barks are really oftentimes just alerts. They're basically saying somebody's here. And why they tend to continue to bark oftentimes is because they go, well, nobody's paying attention. Hello, are you not hearing what I have to say? So yeah, it's it's a dog's way of letting us know stuff is happening outside of the house or outside of the car or, you know, wherever our dogs react to things and bark at it. Yeah. So Raynell was saying it barks out the window while viewing out the window. Yes, perfect TV, right? So I'm sorry, Patsy, you had a question or a comment.
Yeah, I have one of the Luigi who's supposedly timid, and he is sometimes, but
Yeah.
in our living room, the back wall is nothing but windows. There's no covering.
Yeah.
And I'll be
Yeah.
in working on the computer and he's in there barking and I get up to go look. Well, we have a green belt behind our house. So somebody's walking back there and how dare them. And he goes out and he zooms back and forth at that fence. And I always think, if I opened that gate, he would die because he's afraid of them.
Well, yeah. Well, again, you know, it's an alert, right? It's out there, it's out there, it's out there. And yes, a lot of
you
dogs
go
are like,
get it.
Yeah. So again, it's you know, I have to tell you that it's out there, but I really want you to go out there and take care of it.
Yeah, I'll run them off, but if they come back, you go get them.
Yeah, but it works a lot of times too. Again, the fence is a good one where, you know, again, people walk by, they bark at it and the people go by. So again, the dog goes, oh, it worked, right? So I'm going to do it again. Yeah. So they're, you know, again, it's the challenge of the way our properties, our homes are all set up. It's a perfect environment for our dogs to go, great, here's my job.
Yeah, and it's wrought iron, so he can see whatever's going on.
Yeah,
Now my husband says, I think you need to go out with him when he does that because they might throw a rock at him. And I'm thinking,
oh,
put me in charge of security.
Yeah, hopefully not. Yeah, the world we live in, what can you say? But yeah, hopefully not, that it's just, you know, again, you know, I just bark you away.
There you go, yeah. But then they come out the other way and he goes again. So
yeah, well, again, yeah, it's so cool. So couple things, you know, one, we've talked about this one before, but I'm going to mention it again, is teaching them a cue like all clear, which is basically letting your dogs know that you have seen what they have seen. And how to practice it is the best way to do this is, you know, hard thing is when, you know, people are going by the green belt or coming to the door. Oftentimes you don't know when that's happening, right?
Yeah.
So,
or it could be a shadow.
Yeah. But if you can, you know, the best way to do these things is if you can recreate the situation the best that you can, meaning that, you know, I'm going to use the example of the front door. If your dogs tend to bark at the front door, if you can have somebody come by and knock on the door or ring the doorbell so you know that they're there and practice with your dog. They ring the doorbell, your dog goes to the door. Bark, 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 bark. Again, you've got to maintain calm because if you go and yell at them, they think, great, you're barking along with us. Yay, we're both going to chase that dog or that person away. So calmly saying something like all clear or whatever you want to use, have some really high value treats, show it to them, get them right in your face and nose, and toss it away from the door. So you are basically saying, hey, you did your job. Fantastic. Here's the reason why you're going to move away from the door.
Yeah.
That's the key part of it. Dogs are looking for the why. I don't see a reason why to move away from the door when this is working. What's the other option? Moving away from a door and giving them something really valuable and fun to do to move away from the door.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. He works for treats. Yeah.
Yeah. Treats are, for training, treats are the why. We tend to think of them as reward, but it's the why.
Yeah.
It's why am I doing this really weird behavior you're asking me to do? Here you go. And then they start to go, oh, great, versus, man, that stinks. Why? Right? And my dogs look at me all the time like, why? And then I show them a treat. It's like, I got it.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Good, good. So yeah, so practicing cues, again, recreating the scenario like somebody at the door, creating the cue, calmly asking them to do that, and then giving them the why, the treat away from the door. Cool? All right. I know we're getting close to time here, so let me go quickly here. Just very quickly, a lot of times things like dogs barking at the back fence, it really comes down to our dogs are bored. You know, if they don't have something else to do, they're going to find a job, especially golden retrievers. They've been bred to do jobs. So if we leave them with nothing to do, oftentimes that's when they find the things to do. So giving them something to do, like the backyard situation. If my dogs are out in the backyard and they've done their patrol and they've done their potties and they've sniffed everything and they're bored out there, they're going to look for the dogs in our other yards next to us to bark at. So instead, I take a whole bunch of treats, I scatter them in the backyard, go find it. That's their new job. And they love it. So thinking about having things for your dogs to do so that they're not sitting there thinking about doing the behaviors that really can be irritating. So sniffing, anything that a dog can sniff is calming. Snuffle mats, scattering treats, fantastic ways for dogs to, even doing your breakfast or dinner for your dogs. Scattering it in the backyard, let them go forage for it. Dogs are foragers, so they like to do that. So if it works in your yard, fantastic. Anything they can lick or chew is calming for them. So again, having those things available for them, particularly when you need them to be calm. I have to work today. I can't have you racing around the house. Here's something for you to lick or chew. Great. Interactive puzzles. There's a million of them on, Chewy and Amazon and all those places. So again, finding something that is really fun for your dog to do that mentally stimulates them. Finding those things great. And again, they like to carry and retrieve. So hiding things around the house, go find it. Gets them to go find it, carry it, retrieve it. Anything and everything is a possibility, but finding things that your dogs like to do and then having those available, especially for those times when you need them to be calm, is really helpful. All right. Next, myth of energy burning. Just want to go through that really quickly. A lot of times we think if we could just burn our dog's energy out, they will be calm for the rest of the day. And how many have been able to do that with their dogs? Anybody? Nope. I haven't.
No.
Yeah. So knowing that, a tired dog is a tired dog, but only for the amount of time that they're tired. And when we exercise our dogs, a lot of times what we're doing is we're just building athletes instead of calm. So chances are it's very rare that we'll be able to do any sort of exercise with our dog, whether it's walking, hiking, throwing the ball. It's going to make them tired for a little bit, but then they're going to have the energy back again to do a job, to do something. So again, having those enrichment things available for when your dog recovers from their walk or their hike or whatever you've done with them to do a little energy burst so that they can manage their emotions and keep themselves in a calmer state of being. Cool? All right. Next, leash walking. So this is a big one, and I apologize because again, I'm just going to touch on a few things here because we could do probably a whole 6-week session on leash walking and reactivity and all of that good stuff. But things to keep in mind is that if you can think about your walks start well before you go out the door and asking your dogs to be calm even before you go out the door helps set the tone for your walks. So I know a lot of clients are on a time schedule, meaning I've got to get this done like within a certain amount of time. If you schedule in then for your walk, if you've got a 30-minute time block to be able to do a walk, if you think, okay, our walks may only be 20 minutes and 10 of that is actually working on calm before we go out the door, you're going to have a calmer walk and you're going to teach your dog, we work on calm even before we get out the door. So setting yourself up for success before you walk out the door is really key to kind of helping you have a good walk, then nice calm walk. I know we've talked about this before, letting our dogs sniff on walks. Again, that's not only a way for them to learn about their world, but it is calming for them. Now, when I say that, do I want my dog to yank me across the street while cars are coming to sniff on the other side of the road? No. But I do want to, if it's appropriate and it's safe, to allow my dogs to sniff things without yanking me places. So again, allowing sniffing helps them manage their emotions on walks. So one quick game I'm going to talk you through real quickly. It's called the 1, 2, 3 game, and it's one of my favorite games to teach a dog to walk with you on a walk, because that's most of the time where dogs kind of go off the rails on walks, is that they don't understand when we walk out the door that we're actually a team and we're working together. They walk out the door and they go, great, I'm going to go check that out, and I'm going to go see that, and I'm going to go back this way, and I'm going to go that way, because that's what a dog does on a walk, right? They don't walk in a nice straight line like we think, we're going to do this pattern around our block and come back. They're going, nope, it's over here. No, it's over, wait, I got that. So 1, 2, 3 game. This is how it works. You're going to want to have treats again. All you're going to do is this, and this is a great place to practice this to start in the house, in the backyard, not on leash. Okay, so treat. You take the treat and you place it on the ground near your feet or somewhere very close to you. You wait for your dog to reach down to get the treat. And what's going to happen is when they come back up, they're going to look at you. That is where you do what we call a mark, which is like clicker training. If anybody's familiar with clicker training, it's basically you're telling the dog, that's what I want you to do. You want them to look up at you and you're going to say yes. So the minute they come back up, look at you, yes. Then you're going to count out loud. 1, take a step. 2, take a step. 3, take a step. They're going to be watching you because you're going to put another treat down by your feet when you hit 3. They're going to take the treat. They're going to look back up at you. You're going to say yes, and you're going to do it again and count out loud. 1, 2, 3. So what you're going to start to find is they're going to walk close to you because they're going to go, ooh, treats are coming, right? The why am I walking close to you? Because I'm going to get a treat. And they're also going to do what's called a check-in. They're going to look to you. What's the direction going to be? What are we doing on the walk? And that helps them make that connection then when you're out on a walk.
So
any questions?
question.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do? So I was trying to work with treats to get, he was all over the place and tripping me up. So I'm trying to get him to walk to the side, and I had some treats. Well, he knew the treats were in my hand. And so he just kept trying to get them out of my hand. And I have 3 hands to put the leash in one and the treat in the other, and hit them with the 3rd hand.
Oh.
There, just put them up.
So the key element is when you're practicing this, don't do it when you're out with a lot of chaos happening, because that's going to be really hard. If they're trying to come up and take the treat out of your hand, put the treat in your hand, fist it in your hand. So you're protecting your fingers, holding it in their face. And what you're doing is you're waiting for them to actually pull their face away. So they're going to go, right? Mm-hmm. Hang out. And the minute they pull their face away, you can then offer the treat calmly, flat palm. But with the 1, 2, 3, the goal is to get that treat to the ground. And if they start losing it, treat doesn't come to the ground, we don't start the game.
Okay.
When you can place the treat on the ground and they go calmly to get it and look back up to you, game on then. Cool? Help? Yeah. Great. Yeah. Slow their roll. If they're going losing it, guess what? Figure out the puzzle. How do you get the treat? By slowing down, not speeding up. And you can do that with treats all the time then. Meaning that is a good way to teach dogs calm, is by offering a treat, because a lot of times we give them the treat, and especially Goldies. How many have the Goldies that is like, more please, faster, like this. Give me treats. So again, teaching them calm, you're going to get the treat, but when you back away from it and I can flat palm it to you and then you take it nicely, everybody wins.
Yeah, I posted an infographic in the chat. So there's a link to 1, 2, 3 in the chat for everybody.
Hey, yeah, I love that infographic. So I'm sorry, somebody else had a question, I think. I'm missing it on my screen. I apologize.
It looks like Tony's hand is raised.
Yeah, I'll ask a question just to confirm. On the 1, 2, 3 game, once you put that treat on the ground, they're expected and allowed to eat that treat. They don't ignore it or anything. They pick it up and eat it. Then they look up at you waiting for the next cue.
Exactly. Yeah. This isn't a leave it. This isn't a leave it cue where they leave it alone. No, it's basically by putting it near your feet, it's teaching them to be close to you, right? So what happens is you create this loose leash effect, but by creating a game versus a lot of times we tend to use the leash as a means to control our dogs. And I like to think of a leash more as just a seat belt, meaning it keeps them from running away. But if we teach them these games and cues to work with us, then the tension comes off the leash. They start to understand, oh, we're walking together. Oh, got it now. Is that helpful?
Okay. Yes.
Great. I'm sorry, Debbie, who's next?
And then hands up.
Allison.
Okay. Hi, I have a couple of questions for
I'm
you.
ready.
One is just in general, why do people market with a yes when yes is something that they could overhear in conversation when they're doing something you would not want to mark, as opposed to saying like good or Shazam or whatever? That, you know.
Yeah, no, it's a good question and I appreciate it. So absolutely, it can be really anything. It could be pineapple. You know, the dogs don't really know. It's really a matter of the timing, you know. So again, whatever cue you use, Shazam, thumbs up, yes just tends to be easy for people. But again, whatever the cue or the mark is, it's the timing of it. It's the behavior and the quickness of the mark. That's how it really reinforces and gives your dogs the thumbs up. So when you're doing that 1, 2, 3, you want to catch your dog right as they're looking at you with that mark, whatever it is. Because what happens a lot of times is we'll wait a little bit, they'll swing their heads up and then we mark them. But what happens is they've already turned their head another way. So we end up marking here versus here. So you want it to be something pretty easy and quick to say too. So there again, why yes sometimes is a good one, but in terms of what it is, it's whatever works for you. And yeah, if you're finding that, you know, you're yesing your dogs and it's losing its effectiveness, then you want to use something different.
Okay. A really
I'm sorry,
nerdy
Deb.
answer. I have a true answer for you. They did a study on how often what we say to our dogs, how often what we say yes versus good versus others. We say good a ton to our dogs. Good girl, good boy, etc. But we don't really say yes very often to our dogs. And so if we train the word yes, if we just say yes and give them a treat, yes, treat, yes, treat, yes, treat, we teach them that yes means a treat is coming. So when they complete the job that we want, and they know when we say yes, a treat is coming. So yes doesn't mean they did the thing. Yes just means a treat is coming. And so they bridge it, right? So, but they did some studies on how many, what do we say to, what do Americans say to their dogs? And yes is one of the things we don't very often say to our dogs. So that was one of the reasons why we picked it. Good, we say to our dogs a ton. And so that's why good is not a good marker. But pineapple, that'd be a great one, except it's a long word. So you could pick something short. You could pick something really short.
Don't use pineapple.
Yeah. That's why people use clickers, because clicker is fast, but I'm clumsy and I forget to use my clicker and I'm slow with my clicker. So I used just a staccato word. Some people use the word for yes in a foreign language that they wouldn't use in their home. That works too. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So I have a leash walking question.
Okay.
I have a young foster here, and we've been working on not pulling, and he's really smart. And so I've been, when he walks calmly with me, then I intermittently give him treats, which may not be right, but he figured, and then when he pulls, so he's like a medical dog too, and so when he pulls, we just stop walking.
Right.
There's no continuing, and he figured that out pretty quickly. And then, but he's young, so he forgets. And so initially he would like pull and I would stop, and he would immediately like come back and sit and look at me. It was checking in. And then he realized, well, if I'm just walking, I could stop and look at her and sit down and get a treat.
Right.
Which right now I'm just like, don't pull, don't hurt your leg. Like, I don't care.
Right.
So I have been, initially he would like pull, realize he had done the wrong thing, and then sit and look. And I was treating that initially. And then I'm like, well, we've got to fade this, because now I'm teaching you, you still get one even though you pulled. And so now he has figured out, skip the pull, go straight to the sit and look.
Right.
But I've been treating it because it's early. And I think, anytime you're walking nicely and you like check in with me, at this point, you should get a treat.
Well, yeah, he figured out the game, right?
Yeah.
And they do.
Is that okay?
So, there's a couple things you can do. One is then play Russian roulette with him, which is, not giving him a treat every time. So there again, he doesn't know then that it's like every time a treat's coming. The other is practicing that 1, 2, 3 game with him. So he's getting treats, but it's in a structured game versus, I stop and I pull, the game, you're going to have forward momentum with that count. The 1, 2, 3 is going to walk him, but teaching him to walk closer to you. And one thing I should add, which I didn't, and that's my fault. Once you get that game going with your dog and they really start to understand it, where you're going one, they know the game. One, they start hearing 1, 2, 3, they're walking by your side because they know the treat's coming. You can then add extra steps in between each count. So it can go from 1, 2, 3 to 1, step, 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 2, step, 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 3. So again, you can start to spread it out so that it's not 1, 2, 3 treats. So the treats become less too, because you're adding more steps in. So that's another way to work with them for sure, is turning it into a game that they enjoy, where again, you're working with them versus just, we're moving forward. Because they go, okay, I'm moving, and I'm going to move at my pace, and my pace is way up here and your pace is way back here. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Yay.
Had her hand up as well.
What's up?
She did. I don't know if she's
I'm sorry, did you say Alyssa?
Yes. Yes,
Oh,
Alyssa.
hi everybody. Thank you. I took my hand down just because the Russian roulette information you shared kind of answered my question. But while I have the mic, I'd like to thank you all because the front yard dates and all of that advice has been such a game changer for us. And one of the first signs to me that it was really working, and 30 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes in the front yard, it's just been by far the most effective thing I've ever done with my dog who's leash reactive. So I'm thrilled. And one of the first signs was that he's always been a sled dog bounding out the door. And he still leaps through it. We're not at that point that he doesn't leap. Right. But the leash is loose when he gets to the other side of the threshold now, because he knows we're going to do some fun stuff in the front yard. It's unbelievable to me to see the difference. So I want to thank you. I think he's well on his way to, and so he's able to we're starting to go on walks beyond the front yard a bit more. He's actually able to enjoy sniffing. So I want to thank you both. It's just been fabulous. Thank you so much. And the Russian roulette will help because he's fantastic at looking at me. And I was thinking, I don't want him to get distracted from the sniffing. So what do I do? But I think that covers it.
Yeah, it's the good news, bad news. They love patterns, but once they figure out the pattern, they're like, great, that's our agreement now. So it's tough. Yeah. So now I still, to this day, even with my dogs, and I've worked with them a lot, I still always carry treats with me when I go out on a walk, and I will randomly offer that to them. So again, I keep reinforcing it, but they're never quite sure when it's going to happen. And my super smart German Shepherd Husky mix goes, that's so Joan asked favorite treats. So my go-to is the junk food for dogs, pepperonis. You can get them at pretty much anywhere, Amazon, HEB. They're stinky, and I swear it's like Lay's potato chips. They put something in it that the dogs adore, and so that one is kind of my go-to. But again, whenever you're looking at treats, you want to look at how much distraction are you dealing with when you're working with your dogs. So in the house, you might be able to get away with their kibble might be enough for them if they're really appreciating that. But if you're walking outside and there are bikes and people and squirrels, anybody having squirrel issues? I know all of my dogs are. Any of those triggers out there, you're going to want to have something really high value, because again, dogs are all about trade. So if it isn't as valuable as whatever the trigger is, they're going to go, nope. So it could be something that they never get. Yeah, rock squirrels. Yep. I'm telling you, man, as I tell my dogs, I think they're cute, but I think they're evil. I think they're truly evil. Their whole thing in the world is to taunt dogs and make their lives miserable. And my dogs agree with that. But again, treats, something really high value, something that they might not normally get, have those available for those times where you're going to be battling the elements. You want to have your superpower with you whenever you're out and about.
And we also have a list of suggested treats and suggestive, like good sites and for different diets that we could share with Michelle, that we found like tried and true different brands. So we'll be happy to share that. And one of my go-tos is Hebrew Nationals hot dogs, because they don't have all the junk in them, but they are for my like high value, drive a dog crazy. The dog really needs to pay attention to me, especially a reactivity situation. Those hot dogs, they're going to pay attention to me. I wouldn't use them when the dog is like super food driven, because then they'll only pay attention to the hot dog and I can't train them. So if you've got a highly food driven dog, that's a terrible treat, because then they won't do anything but that. So that's the crazy bit. Oh, you've got a great request. Can we talk about destructiveness? My own? Yes. Has that rumor gotten around? Yeah, but I'm going to let Diane talk about that.
Goodness, yes, distractions around the house. As I mentioned earlier, my how I got into training was my husky chow mix redecorating my kitchen by pulling countertop tiles off. So
Oh,
so fun. Yeah. But I think, usually where destruction comes in, usually comes from boredom, that your dogs are going, okay, I'm not ready to just sleep or hang out. I need something to do. So the key is having enrichment tools at your beck and call to give them, so that it's easier to give them a yes versus a no. We walk around, yeah, I don't want you chewing up the house. I don't want you chewing on this. I don't want you destroying this. You have to give them the yes then. And if you don't have time to be with them, which I totally understand, we have lives and everything, and we're not with our dogs 24/7, what do they enjoy and they'll hang out with? And again, usually it's something they can lick, chew, or sniff. Those are kind of the three great basis for dogs, because it usually causes them to either calm by like sniffing, sniffy mats, snuffle mats are a good one, or chewing. You're looking for something that they're going to wrap their paw around, lay down on the ground and gnaw on, or licky mat. There's Kongs where you can stuff them with different things. But the goal is, okay, if my dog is chewing or tearing up something, I want to make sure that they have something else to do. Because asking them there again, just go over here and relax, they'll probably do it maybe for a little bit, but chances are they're going to go, okay, I've been here for a little bit. Now I need to go find something else to do. Is that kind of what you are dealing with? Or if I'm not answering your question specifically, please let me know.
Yeah, so a couple of days ago, he destroyed a $250 cord to a pool piece of equipment. And prior to that, it was a $75 or I'm sorry, 75-foot garden hose. And
yeah,
what we're determining, I mean, we've done everything you just suggested, the calm,
okay,
and the licky mats and the whole bit. And we can't obviously keep him in sight 24/7.
Right.
And there were times when, we probably should have put him in his crate, and I decided to, let him kind of, hang out and stay out in the backyard with our dogs. And our dogs have a kind of a mitigating effect on him. But when he was, away from our attention, he those things. And then, so we've kept him on a much shorter or much tighter kind of visual
right.
thing. And, like today, he went and grabbed a broom from the corner of the patio and, was pulling it out and was starting to shred it. And, and he's got a ton of toys that it's okay to do that with. So it's just kind of hard for us to figure out. I mean, short of like throwing all of our stuff away or putting all our stuff, in the tool shed or something like that.
Yeah.
How do we respond? I mean, today with the broom, I just said no, and I took it from him. But unfortunately, I didn't get to save my pool cleaner the other day or other stuff.
Sorry.
So
yeah,
it's just hard. And
sure.
We've puppies before, but he's
no, and I understand. But so he's giving you a couple of clues there. So just bear with me on this. Is that it sounds like he enjoys chewing. And I'm not, and again, this is not like, okay, let him run rampant in the house and chew on things. But if that is kind of his go-to on what kind of he's looking for, that is like, okay, this is my iPhone, right? Or my video game is I like to chew on things. Great. So then knowing that when you are letting him out of the crate, chances are good once he comes out of the crate, what can you give him then that is going to mimic what he's been aiming for, like the broom and like the hose. So it could be anything like a yak milk bone or a collagen chew or something like that, so that when you said like, no, don't have the broom, which I totally understand, but then giving him the yes, here's your yes. So, but you can even do it prior. So knowing the minute, he's out and about, he's probably going to be looking for something, right? Because that's just his nature. He goes, great, I'm out and about. And again, if you aren't doing things with him, which again, that's not me going, why aren't you spending more time with him? It's just, he's out and about. He's looking for stuff to do. And let's face it, Labs and golden retrievers, super mouthy dogs, right? They like things in their mouth. So, okay, he's coming out. Let's have whatever it is for him to chew available and for him ready to go. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Di, let me jump in as a behavior consultant too. So it seems like this guy has a whole lot of energy, maybe excessive energy, and he doesn't know what to do with it. And so he may actually be a prime candidate for a little bit of work with a behavior consultant, in that he's got energy and he's destructive. He's got excessive energy in the way he's dealing with his interactions with people. He's got excessive energy in how he's dealing with his environment, and he's got to be taught what to do with that excessive energy. So there's something else going on there as well. And it could be, yes, teach him, don't chew on this, yes, chew on that, but it feels to me like there's more going on because of the other energetic stuff they've mentioned going on with him. So he's destructive, he's hyper, he's, hyper with people and so on. That's a big picture of a dog that is maybe a little bit over the top. And what do we do with that? He needs to learn how to regulate. It's a big picture. So that would be my hey, as a behavior consultant, he might need just a little bit more help than teaching him to chew. That's going to be a big part of it, but there's maybe some regulation that's needed in there. So we should talk. Oh, you're muted. Yeah, you're muted. Sorry about that.
I totally agree. I think that he would do well with some additional training. And so I don't know what if there's a budget for that or whatever, we're certainly up to that or up for that. And of course, he's not that way all the time. Right now, he's being a very sweet, gentle dog.
He's a sweetheart. Exactly. So it could easily be something like a quick call and, hey, try these things. But it sounds like he needs a little bit more guidance, just because that's a couple things.
Yeah. He also spent some time on the street. And so he's super intelligent and very crafty and quite capable for a little puppy. So I'm not sure how he survived, but he did. And he's kind of showing us how.
Yep. He's like, this is how we do it.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for your question. I so appreciate it.
That's Augie, by the way.
Were there other questions? We're good. Okay. So real quickly, then I'm going to move on. One last thing real quickly here. I know we're running out of time, is practicing your sits and your downs. I know a lot of people like to teach sits and downs, which is great. But the thing with sits and downs, what you're looking for is, a lot of times our dogs will sit and then we say, great, and they pop up and they're gone. And so we're not really teaching calm with it. So when you think about doing a sit, is asking them for the sit and asking for a hold by giving them a release cue. So like my dogs, their release cue is freeze. So when I ask for a sit, I ask for the sit, I don't give them a treat right away. So got the treat, have them hold it for a count of 1 or 2. Then I give them the release cue free, and then I place the treat calmly on the ground away. And then when they move, that's when I say yes. So that they understand free means I get to move around the cabin now. So again, asking for a sit, I have the treat, 1, 2, free, and then calmly set it away. And the minute they move, I say yes. That, again, slows their roll, teaches them when they get to move, because that's the key part of it. If they don't know when they get to move, they're going to move when they want to. And it's usually faster. Sits and downs, right, down, up, down, right? Because I get a treat and I get to go. Sit, up, down, because I get a treat. So slowing down your sits and downs by adding a release cue helps gain calm behavior. And finally, I'm so sorry, we're going to fly through this. So again, the big key takeaway is that the more we can create the calm environments, the more that we can practice the calm behavior, the more our dogs start to learn that is what A, we're looking for, B, and seeing the value of doing it. Oh, went through very quickly. So I know we're at time, but I do want to make sure, I think I got many of the questions, and if we missed the questions that you gave us, we so appreciate it. We will try to I'm going to look at these questions and see if maybe we can turn it into another webinar so that we can make sure that we're getting that info to you. Any other questions, concerns? Ready to go and have dessert or coffee or
or wine or a
wine? Time for a drink.
Diane, would you entertain one more?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay. I've been working with my dog on a calm mat. So I have her lay down on it.
Yeah.
And of course you treat when she's there. But what she's getting more tense with the treat.
Okay.
So it's like the treat ramps her up and it defeats the purpose of the calm mat. And I just don't know how to turn all that around.
Okay. I'm going to make some guesses here, so bear with me.
Sure.
So usually, we ask for them to go to mat or place or whatever your cue is. And do you typically have her sit or lay down on the mat?
She will choose to lay down and I just accept it.
Okay. And when you're giving her the treat, are you handing it to her so she's taking it upright, or are you placing it on the mat?
I'm placing it on the mat.
Okay.
Like between feet. Yeah.
Got it. And so when you're saying she's getting excited, then is she like looking for more treats then, or is she popping up? Okay. And are you practicing any sort of release cue with her?
What you just said about that, it was good information. So no.
Okay.
And the timing I have, but it's not in that context. I think I'm probably confusing her.
Okay. Yeah. So I think a lot of times, again, it's like if we're not letting them know when they get to move, then it's like, well, okay, what am I going to do then to get that treat faster?
Okay. So what she does is she'll reposition because she thinks got to stay down, and then she'll like wiggle.
Right.
Like, did I do it again? So it's like a constant jerking around and
right.
Did I do it now?
What you're looking for when she lays down as well is you want to make sure that she really is relaxing. A lot of times we say down is a relaxed position, and in reality they're holding it. But if her ears are really up, if she's really wide-eyed, release her then. Don't wait, so she doesn't get to a point where she's trying to get things to happen. It's like, okay, you get to decompress now. Now let's try it again, and look for those signs. So once she starts kind of getting what another trainer uses this term, so I can't claim it. When they start to get melty, that they're really kind of then start to try to hold longer. Mm-hmm. So at the beginning, don't hold too long. Make it pretty quick on and off. So she's not amping that tension up, and really calmly, that treat comes down to the mat really slowly and calmly. Okay. And when you release her slowly and calmly, and then as she starts to kind of melt into the mat, then we can start working on getting more time.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah. Any others? questions, concerns? Wine recommendations?
I don't see any more questions in the chat. Lots of thank yous, which is great. I mean, as usual, great information, which we knew it would be. You guys always provide us with a wealth of great information that we can take away and will lead us into next month, which is very exciting. The webinar is going to be December 19th. It is the third Wednesday, and it is entitled From Fearful to Flourishing, Helping Anxious Dogs. And we've had a lot of those within GRR lately, and you guys have been doing some great work with a couple of our current fosters. So I'm really excited about this next session. If you're new, I know there's some people that are new to the webinar series. We started, and the way that Debbie and Diane have progressed these webinars is kind of a plan. Like each month is kind of building up to of having an overall very well-rounded dog. So if you've missed any of the webinars from the past, send me an email. I'll send you the link where you can go back and watch, because they all have a purpose in how you manage your dog, training your dog, having a very well-balanced dog. And so there's a lot of references that they give from the previous webinars that all lead up. It all ties together. So it's really, to me, I feel like it's really important that you watch the whole series, because you will get, I mean, I've worked with dogs for years and years and years, and I learn something new every webinar. I look forward to it. So I promise you, you will learn from going back and watching the recordings of the previous one. So shoot me an email if you need to get that link to the previous recordings. We're so excited again for the next one. Again, it's not the last, it's just going to be our next session, December 19th. So stay tuned for that information. That we'll start putting that out next week.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, everybody. So appreciate your time, and look forward to seeing everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody too.
Happy Thanksgiving.
It's here.
Everything you guys do with Gold
I hope
Ribbon.
everybody has a peaceful week next week and can relax a little bit before we have to jump back into it. Hopefully you can have some calmer dogs next week. Baby gates are your best friend.
Yep.
If you don't own at least 3 baby gates, I don't know what you're doing wrong. Because
I know. I keep saying I got to have a side business of baby gates.
And you can gate off any size area. I promise you.
It's pretty amazing.
They make 6 feet baby gates.
I know. It's
so
insane.
You can gate anything. I promise you. They are your best friend.
It really is. For sure. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everybody, so very much. And again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, in December.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.